Hello everyone and welcome to another game from the FIDE World Cup 2019. It's game 2 of the match Alireza Firouzja versus Liren, and the two classical games they played were drawn. We've already shown game 1 of the rapid section. Ding won that game. It was extremely hard game. Ding really had to grind it out in the end game. Eventually he won, and now Alireza has to win this, otherwise he's out of the FIDE World Cup. So you have the white pieces against Ding. What do you play? Alireza opens with knight to f3, the Reti opening, with d5 by Ding, e3, knight to f6, and now c4, so waiting with d4, with e6 by Ding, and knight to c3, still keeping the options of d4 open, and b6. Ding now prepares to fianchetto his light square bishop with queen to a4 check, already a very peculiar position. There are only two games that have reached this position. Bishop to d7 was played and the knight to d7, but c6, the move Ding plays, is a new move, and it's already as of move 5 that we have a completely new game, which is no wonder, as Alireza is trying to, really create some craziness to allow him for some winning chances. Probably he thought if Ding wasn't, if Ding couldn't beat me, well, almost, from the Queen's Gambit decline, then probably I should stay away from that. But okay, bishop to e2, preparing to castle, and bishop to d6 by Ding, just nicely developing with d3, and now castles by Ding, and e4 now. With d captures on e4, d captures on e4, and queen to c7, and here already an interesting move, c5. Here Alireza wants Ding to play bishop captures on c5 to get e5 in, to kind of create some imbalances in the position, get the e4 square for his knight, perhaps create some attacking chances. Maybe the queen can come to g4, the knight could maybe come to e4, maybe to f6 later. Who knows? But Ding isn't interested in that. Ding is, well, he already won one game. He's not looking for adventure. He plays b captures on c5. He doesn't mind messing up his pawn structure on the queen side a little bit. With castles by Firouzja, and now comes knight b to d7. g3, now the knight can move, the h2 pawn will not be under attack, and knight to e5, offering more trades. Alireza declines this with knight to d2, preparing f4 to start, well, his advancements on the king side, and bishop back to e7, with f4 as planned, and knight e to d7 now, and g4, creating an all-out pawn storm on the king side. He's, well, he has to go all in. With rook to d8, Ding is ready for g5, so now that knight to e8 is played, the rook will not be stuck on f8. With g5, pushing the knight back, knight to e8, and now even h4. And okay, Ding doesn't seem to be all that worried about what's happening on the king side. He plays a5. He wants to develop his light square bishop with e5 now. And now, as Alireza put all of his pawns here on dark squares, Ding prevents any more pushing of the pawns with g6. Knight d to e4, going for knight to, sorry, that's a c knight. Knight d to e4, going after the f6 square. And now comes knight to g7. Well, the f6 square is a very nice square for the white knight, but the f5 square is an excellent outpost for Ding's knight, so he plays it. With knight to f6 check, and here we have bishop captures on f6. We have g captures on f6, attacking the knight, and knight finally finds his place here on the f5 square. And h5, continuing to push on the king side, ready to bust open the position. And here, Ding had the very interesting opportunity of playing knight captures on e5. It's a nice idea, but for a rapid game, he's up 1 point. No reason to get crazy, but it's a very interesting idea. Knight captures, and after pawn captures, you go rook d4, attacking the queen. And once the queen retreats, now you go queen captures on e5, and you have just well, an excellent compensation for your sacrifice piece. The two pawns, the king is well wide open here. Probably something Ding would play in a classical game, but here he goes c4. He decides to give back the pawn to get the c5 square for his knight. And then if white is not interested in grabbing on c4, then he can also get the knight to d3. This is his plan, with h captures on g6 first by Firouzja, h captures on g6, and now queen back to c2. The queen now has to go back here. So here you're kind of hoping to get, for example, the queen and the rook on the h file, maybe try and get some action over there. But black also has his say in this with queen to b6 with check. And here king to h8 is a mandatory move, but Alireza plays rook to f2, and this could become a problem for him. Ding goes knight to c5. This knight is now coming to d3, and it's well, if you don't eliminate the c4 pawn, then the knight is staying on d3, because once you capture it, Ding would get a very strong pass to d pawn. So bishop captures on c3, and now bishop to a6, getting rid of the bishop as the bishop guards the d3 square. We have bishop captures, rook captures, and now king to g2. Alireza realizes that this was no place for the rook or the king to be on. And now finally knight to d3 from Ding. The rook is under attack, the bishop is under attack, so obviously you have to move it. Rook to f1, and here Ding says, okay, I'm gonna play rook a7, go rook over to d7, double rooks on the d file, and this should be good for me. But here Ding misses a very nice tactical shot. So feel free to pause the video and try to find this well, idea Ding missed. Maybe he didn't miss it, maybe he just didn't feel like playing it, as it's a rapid game and he really needs to go safe about it. But yeah, for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations, you are an excellent finder of nice tactical shots. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, knight captures on c1. The point is you cannot capture with either of the rooks, because knight e3 check will pick up the queen. A very nice fork is lurking. So you have to play queen captures on c1, and now not even knight to e3 check to win the rook immediately. First you go rook d3, and now you have the threat of knight e3 check, the rook can come to g3 with check, and white doesn't really have any moves. You can't move the queen otherwise. Queen captures on b2 comes with check. It's just a disgusting position for white. But okay, Ding found a different idea. He wants to go rook to double up rooks, knight to e4, and now rook ad7, and here queen to e2 by Firouzja. But now rook to d4, just grabbing more space, putting pressure on the f4 pawn if the knight from e4 moves. But knight to d6 was actually a good try. For example, if knight captures, pawn captures, now you cannot capture, for example, with this rook because of bishop to e3, but you could capture with this rook. However, at least white would get some development in. The Firouzja played bishop to d2 instead, and now Ding just goes in with the queen. We have queen captures on b2, rook to b1 attacking the queen, and now, well, everything wins in this position for Ding. Ding found well, one of the nicer forcing moves. He played rook captures on e4. Knight f4 check also wins if you want to check that out, but rook captures on e4, just offering a rook for 2 pieces and a check. Firouzja decided, well, no, let's play queen captures on d3. Hopefully we can trade queens, you know, you capture this, I'll capture that. But Ding just played queen captures on d2 with check, and it was in this position on move 34 that Alireza Firouzja resigned the game. And with this, he is out of the FIDE World Cup 2019. He resigned because after the trade here, after the trade, you are just down a whole piece, and you're not in a great position. You have no compensation, whatever. You are very quickly getting mated. So yeah. Alireza is out of the tournament. It was a tough break for him, you know, playing such excellent chess and then having to face Ding so early on. But you know, you would face him someday. But okay, if you faced him in the finals, it doesn't really matter, because even if you don't win the World Cup, you still go get a spot in the candidates. So maybe that was a better scenario for him, but you never should look at things like that. So an excellent run by him, and Ding advances into the next round of the FIDE World Cup, awaiting his next victim. So yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. Both of these games are, you know, choices by me. I decided to show them as Alireza is a very exciting young player, and Ding is just the top seed, a monster. So I thought you'd enjoy both of these games, but feel free to suggest any other game. I will check them out, and we're definitely going to show at least one more game from the tiebreaks to also check out the standings and, you know, who kicked who out, who advanced, and so on. So yeah, I would like to thank Alex Larman for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check all my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the World Cup, checking up on your wonderful suggestions, and well, and so on. we will have our conclusion of the Capablanca saga. Do not worry about that. So thank you all. I will see you soon and have an excellent rest of your day.